Can you hear us and can we hear you? Larry Williams?
Good morning, all.
There you are. I can see you too. Good.
How is everybody?
We're doing you.
Good, good. Good as to be expected.
Good. All right. So I think, let's see, I think we have everyone but Calvin, right? Good. All right. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. I have the agenda pulled up on the share screen, so hopefully those of you that are on a monitor can see it. I'll try to do my best to share documents as we go through them. I want to acknowledge that all board members are present with the exception of Calvin Corridors, who is excused. And we will start, as we always do, with an acceptance of the April 30th, 2020 minutes. Not going to pull those up. I can if anyone has specific issues that we want to look at.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, next up, we're going to go to Joe Barry for a report from the secretary.
Yes, good morning. Could you, I didn't catch who made the motion and second for the minutes?
Chuck on the motion, right?
Correct.
And who got the second? You, Larry?
I did, yes.
Great.
Thank you. As a follow-up to my last report, I did confirm that PAC discharged the liens by posting a bond for each one. So that takes care of that matter for now. And that completes my report.
Thank you, Joe. I am going to try to get our program manager's report up here. Give me a minute. Let's see. Do we have Chris on the line?
Yes, I'm here, Mayor.
Great, Chris. Why don't you get started, and I will. I'll try to pull up the report.
Certainly. Wanted to talk this morning a little bit about procurement. We made some good progress there, and just wanted to update on everyone there. Under Clary Elms, we did bid that. We've now selected alternates, and we're moving forward with that. We anticipate to start over at Clary in June. Is what we're targeting at the moment. So that's moving along. The Fowler interior package, we did receive bids on that. It was a single bid. Unfortunately, that was more than what we had anticipated over there. So we're in the process of kind of reprioritizing the work scopes and evaluating that a little bit for a potential rebid on that. I'll have to come back to you probably next month with the timing for that. I think with that, there was one piece of work over there that was a priority, which was the gym floor replacement. And so we're looking for an opportunity, a means to accomplish that this summer, that potentially through a state contract vendor to allow that work to advance. The other work that was there was anticipated that was phased construction anyway that could occur during the year. So rebidding it is not from a schedule side of it. It just means we're going to do it a little bit later than we anticipated, but it doesn't have super adverse effects on what we're doing there. So under Danforth, again, we received 4 bids into this, which was great to have the competitive bids that enabled us to accept essentially all of the ad alternates. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but that was a good thing. And letter of intent has been issued, and we anticipate that starting at Danforth in June. Again, that's an unoccupied construction, about 12 months there. So anticipate it going there as well. And then Blodgett site, again, we have an award out for that. And we anticipate starting over there in June as well. So I wanted to take a minute just to kind of regroup on those. Their project design status, which you see in that upper left-hand corner box, or additional work scopes. I just kind of wanted to break this back together. So as a part of that reevaluating where we were on work, and kind of reconciling budgets and starting to bring things, dial some of the projects down, we gave us the ability to award those additional work. So at Clarity Elms, we were able to award about 1.5 million in ad alternates. At Danforth, about 1.7 in ad alternates, and then we were able to procure about $500,000 worth of additional work at Blodgett for the parking lot replacement. So, and as we continue to go through the project and as things start to, again, wind down on several of the jobs, we'll continue to evaluate that and seek opportunity for doing some additional work. So, but I just wanted to kind of bring that together so folks realize that we've had some success here in this last round of procurement and the ability to do some additional work. Any questions on that before I move on? And then under the project financing approvals, we do have some action that we're seeking to decrease the Henniger budget and transfer $1 million of that over to Danforth, as I said, to award those additional alternates. And this transfer does not affect the work that we're doing at Henniger. Again, it's part of a reallocation here. Back when we had increased our budget from 291 to the 300, there was some holes that we had put into several of the jobs. So this is one of those where we had a placeholder, and so we're going to utilize that at Danforth. So that kind of covers where we are in terms of procurement. Any questions on any of that? Nope. All right. If not, I'm just going to then move into the lower right there for the construction update. As I mentioned, we're dialing the Blodgett project down in terms of the work that we had accomplished, the renovation work, and then we're going to start up the exterior parking lot construction here in June to get that going. At Grant, we're dialing that. We're getting down to the completion of that. The biggest component of work that's still ongoing over there was the roof. We finally got a stretch of decent weather here, and we're targeting to try and get things completed and done at Grant in July and bring that to completion. Huntington, again, good progress over there. We're well into the final toilet room renovation on the first floor that we're working on. Again, looking to try and get that dialed down as well here in the next month or two and be done over there completely. Ed Smith and Bellevue, we're down to very little left at Bellevue. The focus there is to try and get the final payment applications completed and finalized in July. That's our target. Have a few hurdles to clean at Ed Smith with respect to, there's a couple potentially contentious issues over there that we're working on, and hopefully we can get through those and stay on target for that. The Fowler site work is moving along quite well over there. There's actually a PDF in there of the progress at Fowler. I don't know, Mayor, if you're able to pull that up. Wanted to share some of that with you for those who hadn't been by. The goalposts are up and the scoreboard was revealed, and so it's starting to actually look like a field now. And with any luck, our hope is that we're substantially complete on that this fall. Still trying to get the bleacher component of that dialed down to make sure that they're going to be here. That's procured under a separate contract. We want to make sure that they're coordinated and will be here. And just as a reminder of that, we won't have a concession storage building in place for the fall. That's something we're still working through the means and methods of the procurement for that. So what you will see there will be kind of there'll be a slab over there. Actually, it's featured in the lower right-hand corner there. There's where you see some of the pipes sticking up. That's where the concession storage building will be. But good progress over there. We're happy with what's happening and excited to see that come together. At Corcoran and Henniger, we're advancing. If you've been by Henniger, the canopy's down. They've mobilized equipment over there, and we're starting to move earth for the addition, which is exciting. Looking forward to seeing that start to advance. And with respect to both Corcoran, Henniger, and Nottingham, in the light of the no return to school, we've taken that opportunity here to jump on work that we had planned for the summer early. we're also trying to identify some additional work scopes that we might take on, but we're doing that a bit carefully here. We want to make sure that we don't overcommit on how many we're going to take on, but it has been I know for others and for most it's been a complicating affair, but in terms of the construction piece, it does allow us to get a jump, which is great. And then under constraints and critical issues, and just those are kind of self-explanatory. There, our focus is Bellevue and Ed Smith at the moment, getting that final cost report into SCB, that dial down that I want to try and get final apps in July. That's the focus at the moment. Following that will be granting and Blodgett. Under the COVID piece, clearly the social distancing and the face covering has presented some challenges. We're working through that. Kind of a day-to-day thing here where we're dealing with different issues and trying to make sure that people are complying. We have had some manufacturers that have been affected, lead times on some of the material. I don't have any specifics to report at the moment. It's something we're working through, but there have been some factories that have shut down that have contributed some delays in terms of orders. Again, I don't have a specific impact for you at the moment, but it's something we're evaluating and asking the contractors to go through and just secure that their orders are placed and confirming delivery dates. I think that about covers it. Questions?
So, Chris, I don't know if anyone updated, but my computer completely crashed when in the middle of that. So I apologize for that. I'm in the process. I'm on my phone. I'm trying to boot back up. So bear with me, everyone. Feel free to ask questions.
I just wanted to just make a quick comment. Really, a compliment. There's a lot of great buzz that's coming as a result of that Fowler Field. Obviously, it's been highlighted. I think that, certainly riding by, again, it's just been a lot of great buzz seeing that scoreboard go up and seeing the work that's being done there. Really is, it's causing quite some excitement, and it's great to seeing some of that return for that community. So, I know it was sort of an arduous and tumultuous task at times with a lot of the trying to get that begun. But again, I just want to say thank you to the superintendent in particular, and to Chris for the work that's consistently being done there. So it is great to see that finally coming to fruition.
It is. I agree. Thanks for appreciate that. It's we're excited as well. I think it'll be nice to see it turn green.
Yes.
Hey, Chris, this is Chuck. I noticed we have a resolution later where we're going to double the contingency budget for Nottingham. Is that related to something specific?
We are going to. We have experienced a fair amount of some discovered conditions over there. I would say, probably particularly with hazardous materials, and we're not spent out on it yet, Chuck. We wanted to get it in place, and it's not increasing the budget. It's just a reallocation of some budget money that we had in the incidental side up to the not to exceed, so that we're prepared if we need to exceed that. So I think that combined with the fact that there has been discovered conditions, but there's also been some opportunity to do some additional stuff while we're there, and so we'll be able to have the ability to procure that and to keep it moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? I'm on my backup computer now, so see if I can get at least the agenda back up to start. As I get my documents pulled back up again, I think if we're all set with the program manager report, we'll go next to the financial statements report. And I saw Suzanne on. Is Donna on as well?
Yes, I'm signed on to Suzanne's
Oh, gotcha.
Suzanne's laptop. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You are up. and I will try to bring up the report.
Okay, if you have your packets in front of you, I'm going to start down on page 5, which is the statement of net position for the financial statements this month. We did have a lot of activity for the month of March. We had several major financial transactions that took place. Of course, we had vendor payments, which is the norm. Those were rather high for the month of March because we paid both February and March vendor payments in the month of March. We also had the intercept for the district's aid for upcoming debt service payments for May and November. So that was about $20 million. And then we did also accrue some investment income before the market dropped out. And we also had our final long-term borrowing, our final for phase 2, for all Clary, Danforth, Allens, Henniger, and the long-term borrowing for Fowler Field. That was the Series 2028 bond issue that took place on March 3rd. And we also used that money to pay off our bond anticipation note. And that will conclude the use of bands for all of phase 2 projects. So we'll no longer see any bands coming in for the project. All the long-term borrowing is complete. Okay. So on page 5, the statement of net position, at the end of March, the total fund had a total of $172.4 million of both phase 1 and phase 2 cash. The remaining phase 1 bond proceeds, I want to just bring to your attention. Normally we have an amount there in the phase 1 cash amount and under capital asset column. And we've been carrying $1.3 million there, but we transferred that money into debt service. So that was money left over from phase 1 that has just been sitting there, okay? And we have now since moved that money over into the debt service column, and we're going to use the leftover bond proceeds from phase 1 for debt service payments in upcoming in May, okay? So you'll no longer see any phase 1 cash, which is, as I said, hanging on to the debt service in order to make those upcoming payments, okay? And then, of course, we have our phase 2 cash of $146.3 million, and our debt services at 14.5. So compared to the February statement, cash did increase by $85 million due to the $98 million bond issue. And we also made a $23 million band payment. We had an increase of $96,000 in investment income, and our vendor payments were about $10 million that were approved both in February and March. Also included is the capital assets of $223 million that represents all activity up to 6/30/19. So our total liabilities at the close of March was $377.6 million, and that includes both bonds payable for both phase 1 and phase 2 projects. There is a considerable increase in the bonds payable more than 1 year due to the current bond issue, okay? So the current bond issue was added into that from prior months. So at the end of March, the unaudited total net position is $17.9 million. So I'm going to turn to page 6. And this is our statement of sources and expenditures report. And this, of course, shows the $97.7 million of bond proceeds, along with the capitalized interest of $708,000 that we borrowed. The pass-through from New York State funding on the phase 2 side was reported in prior months for a debt service payment, along with the band proceeds of $695,000, which was reported back in September. Our total earnings for year to date in phase 2 is $1.3 million, and our total capital layout to this point has been $77 million for the 19-20 fiscal year. We also had an interest payment of $2.5 million back in November. And you'll notice there on the bottom, the operating transfer in was of $250,000, came from the district. It was money that we were holding on to for the Fowler Field project. It was money that was reimbursed to us years ago from Onondaga County because they had torn up the tennis courts for a project that they were working on. And it was money that we were to use to replace those tennis courts. So now that we have the final borrowing for Fowler, the district transferred that money over into the JSCB to fund those new tennis courts. So that's where that $250,000 transfer in is coming from. And on the phase one side, there is no change. There's nothing new to report for this month. Everything there just shows previous months reported sources and uses. And now I'm going to go down to page 7. And page 7 is our cash flow statement. And that shows everything that we actually spent from July to March. And you'll see there in March that our $20 million for the state aid intercept came through the district. We also have the bond proceeds along with the capitalized interest. Shows the $250,000 coming in from for the Fowler project, as well as interest income of $96,000. And then, of course, our total outlay for the month was approximately $8.9 million. The closing costs are also reflected there of $1.9 million for the closing of the bond issue. And then, of course, our band payment. So we had a substantial activity for the month. Also, the April through June, those are all projections, which puts us at approximately $137.3 million left in cash for the projected for the end of the year. And then our final report on page 8 is our revenue and expense inception to date report. For phase 1, we have a total sources of $141.6 million. Phase 2, we have a total of $292 million. And the borrowing, of course, is reflected in that. And then our total expenditures for phase 1 is at $141.6 million of no change. And then our total expenditures for phase 2 is $145.6 million. So I know that was a lot. And does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, great. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
All right. Next up, we looks like we are into the resolutions. Rather than try to bring them all up one by one, I'm just going to have Joe go through them, read the short title, and hopefully everyone has them in front of them.
Yes, we have several resolutions this morning, beginning with resolution number 32, which would be the monthly payment to Landon and Ryan.
We have a motion.
Moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried.
Resolution number 33 would be the monthly payment to the program manager.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 34 would be the monthly payments to the tranche 1 contractors.
So move.
Second.
Did we get a second there?
Yeah, I'd second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 35 would be the monthly payments for the tranche 2 contractors.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 36 would award a contract to Pack and Associates of Oswego for the Danforth Middle School project.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Resolution number 37 would award a contract to WD Malone Trucking and Excavating for the site work at the West Side Academy at Blodgett.
So move.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch who made the first motion.
Jaime?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Resolution number 38 would amend our current contract with Huber Brewer for Nottingham High School to increase the contingency budget by $900,000.
So I actually, well, anybody have a motion on that one? One second. So move.
Second.
Under discussion, I was kind of in transit between computers. Can maybe Chris, you explain that one again?
Sure. We've run into some discovered conditions over there in our contingency. We've used that a bit faster than what was anticipated. A lot of it had to do with hazardous material that was discovered in place there and needed to do the abatement on that. So we have not burned through all of our contingency. It's just we wanted to increase it in anticipation of needing it as we get into the summer here.
Got it. Okay. Any
Does not increase the building budget. It's a transfer from the incidental.
Yeah, I did catch that. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And finally, resolution number 39 would amend the JSCB comprehensive plan based on a recommendation from the Board of Education, their recently adopted resolution to use $1 million from Henniger and transfer it to the Danforth Middle School project.
Moved.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's the first and second on that either.
Is that you, Pat, on the motion?
No,
Oh,
Helen.
Oh, Helen. Okay.
I second Jaime.
Thank you.
Any further discussion or business to come before the board? Very good. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Enjoy the weather.
Yeah. Thank you.
Joe.
All right. Stay safe, everybody.
Bye. Oh, wait, I forgot.